Hello there. So we're going to be making a pink spray rose, hypericum berry, and myrtle boutonniere today. And to do that, we are going to need some supplies. So we're going to need some pruning shears to cut the stems, some scissors to cut the ribbon. We're going to be using 1/8 inch green ribbon today, but you can also use another color, maybe that's reflective of some of the flowers, such as maybe pink. And then we're going to have floral tape to tie everything together, and then some boutonniere pins for the finished product. So, like I said, some flowers were already selected previously, and we're going to start off with the main flower that's going to be the focus of the bouquet. So that for us today is going to be the spray roses. I am going to select the main rose that I would like to use. And when you're selecting the roses, you want to check to see that, one where the petals are not bruised, or at least not many of them are, and has a good shape. So for us, I am going to say it's this one over here. So I'm going to go ahead and snip that off, and you probably want to leave about 4 inches to the stem. You can trim it all off later. And I went ahead and kept this little one because it might be nice to include in the design. Okay, so let's put those back. And then to frame the roses, I am going to use these hypericum berries. And I am going to actually snip off this center branch right here. And actually may go ahead and just snip this off because we're only going to use the top bunch. And then just kind of take a look at it first to see if that's really what looks good, and just kind of placing it there without cutting anything yet, just to make sure before anything else is cut. So I can either have it like this where it's pretty full, or I can just have it a little less full. So I think I like the less full look because I don't want it to look like a corsage. So I'm trying to keep it nice and petite. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut off the middle stem right there. Okay. And so just putting it in between here. And then at this point, we have the option of deciding whether or not we want to keep these broader leaves to the side here. It's just personal preference, but for me, I'm going to go ahead and take those off since we'll be using the myrtle. Just going to tear those off right here. Point, I'm not going to tape anything together yet because I just kind of want to assemble them all to see how I like the look and the heights of things. Okay, and then after this, I think it would be nice to have something kind of a little bit taller than the rose itself. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this rose in here so that's facing forward. So see how the berries kind of naturally bend to the right, and so does the flower. So you want to kind of put them together like that so they're bending in the same direction, so that when you're looking at it from the front side, you can see everything. I want to add another little rose, but not a big one, just one of these little buds here. And I think that, let's see, there's a couple on here. I am going to do the top one. So I'm going to go ahead and snip it off, allowing about 4 inches if I can on the stem so that I have something to work with. I just wanted to rise slightly above the bigger rose. All right, so it's kind of coming together right now. And now, so we just have some leaves that we can add on here. So seeing how there's kind of a spot right here, that's where I'll put the leaves. And again, just laying everything together to see how I like it. Okay, yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So I'm just gonna cut this down here at the bottom just so it's more manageable while I'm working with all these stems. And then we know that we're going to be taping down here, so any of these leaves below here can be taken away. All right, so now I am just going to reassemble based on the order that I just put everything together and kind of make it all permanent. Okay, so it's going to be the berries and the roses first. Oh, and if you see anything unsightly, like this middle stem that's a little too long, just go ahead and snip it just so it looks a little bit cleaner. That way it doesn't look like, you know, it lost a bud or anything like that. And I'm actually going to pull the rose down just ever so slightly to kind of cover up that cut part. Okay, and then just kind of move everything forward a little bit. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to put the floral tape on. So just holding the tape with your forefinger and thumb, just hold it there, and then with this the other hand, pull on the tape a little to stretch it because there's adhesive inside there, and that will release the adhesive. So I just twirled it a couple times. Now I'm going to add on the bud, just holding everything together and then taping it. And adjust as you go. See how the bud had, it was turned a little bit, so I'm just putting it back into place exactly where I want it. And then continue to tape. Okay, and then when you feel that everything is pretty solid and secure, then you can go on and add the next stem. So I'm going to add in the leaves here. Then as I'm working towards the bottom, probably want to leave about a couple of inches. We don't need too much. You just need something for the corsage pins to go through. So a couple inches would be about here. Continue wrapping the tape until you get all the way to the bottom. And then when you get to the bottom, try to bend this back up to cover the full bottom because that'll help retain the moisture. See how I bent it back up? So now just press it back this way just to kind of seal it, and then just keep pulling the tape around just to secure that bottom. And then at this point, I'm going to have the tape go back towards the bottom again because there's a little trick that I like to do where I insert my ribbon and it kind of helps hold the ribbon for me. Okay, so I'm going to have my ribbon sticking out a little bit here so that I can get the tape to go over it. See how I'm letting the tape go over it? I think you can see better here. That's the way, you know, to do it. And then just keep taking and then tucking this in because at this point, we don't want this ribbon to show through. Okay. So just continue securing the bottom. Okay, and then just rip the tape. And then because it's sticky, you can just press it on itself. And then that's all nice and clean. And then with the ribbon, you want to have it go back down towards the bottom so that you can wrap. and make it tight so that it doesn't come apart on you. And then just wrap, you know, in circles until you get back up to the top. Take the time to secure the bottom of the ribbon using that floral tape, because it'll make it so much easier. And you can also be assured that it won't unravel on you at the bottom. Now, if you were to use a wider ribbon, this would go a little bit faster. But I also find that the thinner ribbons have an easier time to navigate the little bumps from all the little stems. So just, you know, decide what type of ribbon you want to use. Can't really go wrong. That's the great thing about ribbon. There's so many different colors you can go with. You can even use some of the ribbons that have the metallic shimmer. And then some folks don't even mind the floral tape, so you can even just have the floral tape because it is green, so it kind of looks like the stems anyway. You always want to end the ribbon in the back. Okay, so, and then just make sure it's tight. Okay, so I'm gonna put a dab of glue gun or right here, just a teeny tiny bit. We don't need very much. And then quickly put the ribbon right on top of it just to secure it into place. And I'm not gonna cut the ribbon yet. I'm gonna cut it right after I secure it. So this is a nice and hot glue gun. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put a dab quickly and then push it over using the you know, the rest of the roll, the ribbon roll, to kind of help me hold it there while the glue is drying. Okay, and then that's dry. And so now all we got to do is just snip it here. And we are done. There you go. Nice little bouquet. And so after that, you just want to make sure that you go ahead and put a couple of boutonniere pins on the corsage, or sorry, boutonniere. That way it's ready to go. Sometimes a couple of pins is needed, you know, depending on the actual lapel that it's going to go on. So it's always nice to just have a couple extra. And then, if possible, store these in a little plastic box and then spray it. Just have a little sprayer to kind of mist it every once in a while. I would say once every few hours, just so it's getting the moisture. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this lesson and have fun.